This video is on solving linear equations. A linear equation is an equation that can be written in the form ax plus b equals 0, where a and b are real numbers and a is not equal to 0. The idea of solving a linear equation is to get the variable by itself on one side by performing opposite operations. So let's take a look at an example so we can understand what that means. So let's consider this equation, 12y minus 24 equals 0. Here we have our variable y, and we are going to try and get y by itself on one side by performing a series of opposite operations. So first we have a negative 24. So that is a subtraction operation. The opposite of subtraction is addition. So we are going to add 24 to both sides of the equation. We're going to add 24 on both sides of the equal sign because we want to ensure that we're not changing the equation at all. So we're not changing the result we're going to get. So we got to keep adding or subtracting on both sides. So then we are going to get 12y equals 24, right? Because the 24 on the left side cancels, and then we have 24 left over on the right side. So now we have a 12 times y. So this is going to be our multiplication operation. So the opposite of multiplication is division. So we want to divide now on both sides of our equation. So 12 divided by 12 is just 1, so we're left with y on the left side. On the right side, 24 divided by 12 is 2. And then we're left with y equals 2. So we have the variable on one side, and it's by itself. So that solves our linear equation. Let's take a look at another example. Say we have negative 3w over 5 plus 6 is equal to 7. So first we'll look at this addition operator, and we're going to take the opposite of that, which is subtraction. So we'll subtract 6 on both sides. That's going to leave us with negative 3w over 5 is equal to 1. So now we're left with negative 3w over 5 on one side and 1 on the other side. So we're going to take care of the division operator first. So we have negative 3w divided by 5. So instead of division, its opposite is multiplication. So we will multiply by 5 on both sides. Then we're left with negative 3w is equal to 1 times 5, which is just 5. And all we have left is a multiplication operator. So negative 3 times w, we're going to do the opposite, divide by negative 3. And we're going to do that to both sides of the equation again to make sure we still have an equality there. So then we get w is equal to 5 over negative 3. So negative 5 over 3. And that is our answer. We have w by itself on one side and a number on the other side. So now we're going to consider a more complicated example. So here we have a linear equation, but we have the variable z showing up on both sides of the equation. And we also have this 4 times the quantity 1 plus z, and we're probably going to want to distribute this 4 first to make our equation simpler. So that would become 6z plus 4 times 1 is just 4, plus 4 times z is 4z, equal to 14 minus z. So the next thing we want to do is combine like terms. We have this 6z and 4z, so we can add those two together, and we'll get 10z plus 4 is equal to 14 minus z. Now you'll notice we have the variable still on both sides of the equation. right? We have a 10z on this side and minus z on the other side. So what we can do is add z to both sides. So in doing that, our z on the right hand side is going to cancel out. We're going to have 14. And then 10z plus z is 11z. And then we still have our 4. Now we have an equation that looks like ax plus b equals a constant, right? So we have our ax here. This would be our b. And then our c is 14. So now what we can do is solve this by subtracting 4 from each side. So we'll get 11z, 4 minus 4 is 0, equals 14 minus 4, which is 10. Then we can divide by 11 on both sides, and we'll get z is equal to 10 over 11. And now we have our variable on one side and a number, a constant, on the other side, so we have solved this linear equation.